Friends and enemies, welcome back to the Canadian Bitcoiners podcast. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas once again for those who celebrate, and happy Jan 6th to those who celebrate as well. My name's Joey. That's Len. Some housekeeping off the top. This will be the last episode of Canadian Bitcoiners podcast. We are proroguing in solidarity with the government. Until March 27th.
There's a thumbnail that went on just a little while ago, and it says this podcast does not prorogue. So no, this is breaking news. We are not. We are going to continually do our thing. There's going to be no break in service. We'll be back again next week live, and Wednesday. In fact, I'm going to be doing dropping a interview I did with Yaron. I can't pronounce his last name.
Len, I hope you have your Kleenex ready. I didn't tell you we were going to do this, but a melancholy goodbye to Bill C-63, which died on
What is 63 again?
today.
My wife is talking to me about.
It's the one about we're protected now. We're not going to be in any trouble for saying things that may upset the established order. So pour one out.
Hey, does anything happen to do, like anything change with reporting requirements for Bitcoin in Canada?
No, all those capital gains laws never even passed. I think Mark told us that. Someone told us that, and they just, or it was on Blackhawks. Maybe Mark shared it with us. Yeah, and it's like, the tax collectors were fucking grabbing the cash anyway. Give me a break, man. What are we talking about? Listen, we'll get into all that. Let's do the sponsors first. Speaking of Mark, EasyDNS. Great sponsor. Mark sent me a gift here, and Len one too. This bomb thrower mug I'm pointing at. I understand there's one more gift coming. I did not receive another package today. It sounds like you did. Do not tell me what it is. I don't want to ruin the surprise. But apart from his outstanding taste in Christmas gifts, Mark also an excellent sponsor with outstanding taste in DNS and securities. If you want to start a website, you want to buy one, port one over, Mark's got your back. You want to get your email going with your new website, you can do it. There's a ton of stuff you can do over there. There's a really simple like WordPress plugin you can use for your blog. We have one there. I've written a few things over the years. I haven't written anything in months. I'm very busy with a newborn, but we still have the website. It still works, and it's all thanks to Mark. Not only all that, Len, if you're a Bitcoin enthusiast, you want to do some personal Bitcoin work there, use a virtual private server offering that Mark has. What's the list? Bitcoin node, Nostr relay, Nodeless implementation. What else is there? I'm probably missing something on that list. BTC Pay Server. If you want to sell some pictures of your feet, you can do it. EasyDNS is the place you need to be. Not only that, Len, but Mark will help you secure everything you have on his platform with domain share. Can't beat it. Never get spoofed. Never get taken for a ride by nefarious actors. Go over, use the code easydns.com. CBP Media is the code, and you can get 50% off your first round.
Sadly, Mark Hardy didn't use EasyDNS to purchase his.
He did not.
I took a look. I did a Whois on it to see if it was Two Cows, I believe, was the registrar for that. So potentially it could be spoofed or something because they don't have the protection that you would get with Mark and his team at EasyDNS. So maybe they should move their website over. But nonetheless, we had another sponsor, and that's Bull Bitcoin. Look, the price of Bitcoin, showing sats. It's Moscow time right now. It's great to see it in triple digits, not quadruple digits anymore. It's a good time to buy Bitcoin, and it's a good time to sell Bitcoin. So the options you have, you could do Lightning, on-chain, and last I checked, the fees are still very, very cheap. In fact, there was one sat per VByte were in some of the blocks built this past week. So buying or selling on-chain is still preferable, in my opinion. But Bull Bitcoin will give you the option to do that, or Lightning. And if you're going to do either buying or selling, there's not just that you could do with them. There's other things you could do. Look, people have bills, especially after the holiday season. They got lots of bills. They racked up Visa, MasterCard, whatever. And one way to pay those bills is you could use your Bitcoin. Look, with the price of Bitcoin being over $100,000, there you go. So it's a good time to start spending your Bitcoin and use that in the real world. So one way you could do that is pay your bills with your Bitcoin. The second, you could use your Bitcoin and buy gift cards. And with those gift cards, you could then indirectly spend Bitcoin in Canadian vendors like Amazon, Home Depot, Starbucks.
Yep.
Stuff like that. So lots of different options you could do with Bull Bitcoin. They're non-custodial. This is what you want in exchange. They have privacy in mind. This is what you want in exchange. They have the best in mind for what you're going to be getting in terms of Bitcoin buys, Bitcoin sales. Check them out. Use our promo code below if you haven't yet done so. Bull Bitcoin. $21 will be added to your account once you provide the necessary information. A lot of people have been using it. a lot of people should be using it. When you buy your Bitcoin, don't leave it somewhere. Have it withdrawn right away. Bull Bitcoin, they do it right.
Don't fight with exchanges, man. Just send it to cold storage right away. Our last sponsor, Decentral Technology, shipping out the last of the CBP branded bid axes. You guys bought them all. Well, we bought one, but you guys bought up the rest of them. And we are very, very appreciative for you guys supporting the show and supporting Decentral like that. Look, if you want to start home mining, okay, these guys are the guys to go to. Whether you want to rack in your garage, you want to do a solo mining type gig, or you want to do some hobby mining like we're doing with the bid axes, these guys got your back. You need your board repaired. You want to buy some gadgets, gizmos, whatever you need for your mining operation. They got everything. They're Canadian based. They're a growing company. They've got a lot of outstanding reviews over the years. It's one of the reasons we partnered with them. And I know you guys will enjoy working with them as well. I want to mention, I won't say who, but somebody who listens to the show sent me a DM and wants to have Coffee Len with someone in Toronto, in the Toronto area, we'll say GTA, who knows a bit about setting up mining at let's say you rented a small commercial space or a small warehouse space. I said to him, I didn't know anybody, and it might be hard to find somebody because people who are mining generally want to stay unknown for reasons that are pretty obvious. But if you are that person and you have a little bit of time and maybe you want to let this guy buy you a coffee, let me know and I'll put you in touch with him. He is a Nim on Twitter, and I'd be happy to make the connection. But anyway, Decentral Technologies, man, if you haven't tried them out already, definitely head over to the website. Definitely pick something up, the BidAxe. You can't go wrong with it. Easier to set up than a node, as I've been saying for the last several weeks. That's for sure.
We have to get you on one. I'm in a process right now of trying to get my hands on some extra laptops, and maybe one will be set up and prepared for you, Joey.
Sure.
Nothing can be, I can't guarantee anything. I'm still in the process of seeing if this is possible, but yeah, I'm just trying to get my hands on one that's extra. And you know what, Joey, maybe you might finally have that node and you could complete the circle.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
Verify my own transactions. Imagine.
Holy fuck. Holy fuck. No more relying on a third party. You know, even MicroStrategy runs their own node.
Yes.
So BlackRock, I'm pretty sure, runs their own node.
Maybe. I don't know.
I would assume they do, given what's at stake.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Where do you want to go to the boost? You got boost this week?
Yeah, we got from 3 different folks. Wartime 333 sats, and he sends in an emoji with cheers, like 2 champagne glasses.
Champagne.
Cheers.
Whoa,
and
100K, I guess. Is that or New Year's?
No, I believe that was for January 1st, and then some things popping. So let's say celebration, drinking some champagne. So yeah, he also says another 333 sats wartime. That wartime guy is sus. He needs to chill out with all those boosts. I love hearing you guys try to decode people's boost comments in emoji meetings. Happy face, heart, and then cheers. A couple of mugs with beers in this.
Thank you, Wartime. He has a voice after all.
He does. I like Wartime. You're awesome. I love those 333 sats you keep sending in. Jer sends in 500 sats. He says, thanks for another great episode. And it's a salute with a Canadian flag. And the bird 1000 sats. I wish you and your families to have a healthy, prosperous, and enjoyable 2025. Thanks.
Many thanks to you
for
as well.
what you all do.
Yep.
Same to you and everybody else out there. 2025.
Absolutely, man. Couldn't have done this without you guys. Another great year in the books for CBP, and I hope for you too. And a memorable and meaningful 2025 on deck, I am sure. No doubt about that.
Sorry, just one of the comments that made me laugh.
The comments are absolutely.
I don't even want to bring it up.
I can't repeat it, but it's absolutely blazing hot in there. It's good. Good.
And it's not the one I think we. Anyways, anything else you want to talk about before we dive into this?
Did you do Tom and Nick's show?
I don't know if I'm doing it. I'm going over there to chat with them.
Okay. I didn't know if you're doing the show or not.
I have no idea what's going on.
I have to schedule an appearance there. I was supposed to go in December, and I had to back out because of my daughter there. But I don't know. Yeah, Jared Mellerud from formerly of he did this show once before.
Yeah.
I forget where, but he's going to be the Wednesday release. Len recorded that on
we did a nice chat about. I did a Saturday morning, 8 a.m. a little bit after. It was good chatting with him. He's in Norway, so the time difference works out well for us.
Totally.
And yeah, so next week, gosh, I forget Tony, and that was the one that Boomer set us up, and we'll be talking about Bitcoin and overseas. How it's going to be good to hear about like how Bitcoin is impacting people abroad in a positive respect. Apparently, he's got a heck of a story to tell, and I'm talking to him again this weekend, so it'll be another pre-recorded release for next week.
Looking forward to that. After that, one more rundown of the guests we have. I think Len's got one more interview, and then I'm going to take over for a few weeks for sure. I have Mark Ripito booked, Phil Back.
Give me 1 sec, Joe. I'm just going to grab a quick drink. I forgot.
Yeah, sure, buddy. Yeah, Mark Ripito booked, Phil Back booked, and Zach, BTC BAP. We're going to talk about the Denver space. One thing I don't see here in Canada that I want to talk to Zach about is this whole like Bitcoin shared, it's like WeWork, but for Bitcoiners. I don't know how I feel about that. I've always been, I've been like critical of these things in the past because it feels to me like if you are in one of these like spaces, like I think of these like creator houses or whatever that I see around on Twitter, a bunch of people who are working with other people who are also creators, but like, is anyone really doing that well if they're all like sharing space and have to like rent mics and everything all the time? I'm not sure. Are you there for the vibe? I got to talk to Zach about that. I think if it turns out to be a good model, it'd be cool to have one in the GTA for sure. Because there's a ton of Bitcoiners around here. Excuse me. And I think that there's, it's possible there'd be some demand to be in a space where people are doing Bitcoin stuff, working on Bitcoin stuff, making content, all that. But we'll see. I'm looking forward to all those interviews, all the same. Should we get started? Were we good here?
Yeah, we could talk right away about this new wallet. Well, not this, pretty old actually. I never heard about it before. Tangem wallet?
Yeah.
You ever hear of this?
I had not known.
Before this week, no. Period.
No, at all. No.
Okay.
Did you? Like, I don't.
No, I've never heard about it before this week. And actually, reading up the story, I wish I've never heard of it, period. But what it is, it's a slim, this is what they call it, slim as a bank card.
It's a card,
secure, yeah, it's a little card. And
I'll keep talking. I'll pull the website up and people can look at it.
Secure as a bank vault. They say store, buy, earn, transfer, and swap thousands of coins and tokens with this Tangem wallet. And it's almost $55 as a starting price for one of these. It looks like it uses NFC as a way to communicate with your phone to facilitate these transactions. So it's a little card. But anyways, it was, there it is. And it was reported on Reddit that the device may have been compromised as the seed phrase are leaked and sent out by email. So email, notoriously not the greatest in terms of security.
Wait a minute. What does that say? Did you see that? Look at this. We got a problem here, Len. This is an issue for us. What is this?
0 out of 2 million cards hacked since creation.
Wrong again. You are wrong on your website. Make the correction. Scamgem wallet. Sorry, continue. Go ahead.
Well, they say that the seed phrases were leaked by email, and not only was it sent by email, but it also, because it is sent by email, it remains in your email history. So any malicious actor that takes over your email account could simply look at the history and get access to your Bitcoin. And the info was made aware by this Reddit user, and the Tangem team were then informed of it, and they recognized there was a bug in the mobile application logging procedure, as they describe. And they say it's only impacting a select group of users who perform a specific set of tasks. So not everybody that's a Tangem wallet user has been impacted, but the people that did do tasks a certain way potentially would be impacted. So if you are one of them, and I hope you are not, you may want to look at your email history to see if your seed phrase has been revealed. And since then, Tangem has fixed this bug, and they recommend that users out there clear all the cache and other data through the Tangem app. And that can contain your seeds in the logs. They also recommend uninstalling the Tangem app as another way of doing it and reinstalling the latest version of the app.
Do they recommend just getting rid of it and going to something secure like a cold card and getting off the shitcoin train? Is that recommendation anywhere in the literature? Can you let me know? Can you tell me if they make that recommendation?
See, that's a CBP recommendation, not from them, but certainly it's one from you, and I would echo that as well. It's a very good one. Look into something that is much better. There's so many better devices out there, including the one you mentioned, a cold card, and I would not recommend touching anything like this. It may look fancy and slick, the functionality looks awesome, but in reality, what you gain in form factor, you lose in terms of your Bitcoin, in terms of your wealth. It ain't worth it to go ahead and trade that. Get something that's much more secure. Keys are always offline. Cold Card does this. I'm not going to say that's the only one that does this, because people will say seed sign or whatever floats your boat. That's all. Just do something that is totally offline, that their keys are never exposed to the internet. And when you do generate your keys, and another thing I would suggest is make sure it's done in an area there's no phone, no microphone, no camera, nothing. There's no way that that information can be taken away from you. But this Tangem wallet, holy fuck, like that is pathetic that this information is leaked in that way. It's not like it's sent through like a Signal chat or something, which is secure. Email, like this is the worst of the worst. Like it's fucking brutal. But the fact that it talks about swap thousands of coins, earn fucking yield.
The form factor you need to know, right? Like we've talked about this before, that there is a market fit for some hardware wallet that is big, bulky, hard to move, and very fully featured, like beautiful screen, QWERTY keyboard, takes different kinds of SD cards or whatever, something like the cold card, but it's a lot bigger. Because the only thing you don't need, literally the only thing you do not need from a wallet, from a signing device, is for that thing to be easy to access. Am I wrong about that? Like, why do I need my signing device to look like a fucking credit card?
People want to have, and this is, I'm guessing here,
it's the flex. This is the retard wallet. It is. Why? You don't need it in your fucking pocket to pull out and show people. Okay. Absolutely not. You don't need it all the time to be signing transactions on your phone. You shouldn't have all your funds available to anyone who grabs your wallet and your phone. If you live in New York City, the chances of you making it to work with your wallet and your phone are like 15% anyway now. Like you're going to lose it to some vagrant, or unless you get set on fire. Then you got like the number of people who are washing shit that they put in their pockets and when they do their laundry. It's just, you don't need this. This is not on the list of things you need a hardware device to be, a signing device to be. Portable and cool looking is not on the list. It's just not. And I think more and more people are going to realize this as the value goes up, that you're not looking for something that's easy to grab, easy to notice, easy to steal, looks cool, looks different, looks unique. This includes cold card, by the way. Like eventually we will move away from this style of signing device, if I had to guess. And I'm not saying cold card is anywhere near where these guys are. This is like a total disaster. But to your point, Len, offline air gap signing is a must.
Yeah.
Devices that don't have Wi-Fi or Bluetooth must. NFC, cold card I think has NFC and Bluetooth, but you can disable.
But you could disable that, and you could physically disable that if you
disable it permanently. Yeah, exactly. Disable it like the Sopranos would. You need all these things. And the idea that people are still like, man, Len, giving their email to their wallet provider. Why would you ever do that anyway? Like that's another red flag. Like this is your entire.
Yeah, that's true. I never thought about that.
It's crazy. Like why should your wallet provider have your fucking email? There's no reason.
That's a great point.
Yeah. Why? Just don't get rid of all of these guys. These guys all have to burn slowly but surely. And they will. The problem is the people who use the wallets will burn along with them. And I think thankfully we're probably past the point now where this matters in terms of like media attention. No one at this point thinks that the wallets are the problem with Bitcoin. And so there's not as much sympathy, not as many people going, it's a scam, it's this, it's that, because there are wallets that are easy to use, that are more secure. But people still go for the cheap shit, man. And you said it there. What was the price? $55?
55 starting at.
Like CoinKite, not a sponsor, sells the cold card Q for I think $250, something like that. But the thing is, like, I thought it was like $250 the Q. The Mark IV is probably $200. So I don't know. You pull it up while I keep talking here. But the point is that a good wallet costs something to manufacture, something to ship. And, when you see something that's $55, the chances of it really being secure at every level is almost zero, I would say.
I stand
Now,
corrected, 240 US.
that's US. Yeah. So it's
Yeah,
like
I
325 Canadian. Yeah. They're expensive, but
stand
they just
corrected.
work, right? Like they just work. And,
Yeah.
I hear people talk about, oh, it's kind of a steep learning curve. Maybe, but here's the alternative. You get the credit card for $50 and you're fucked. So you pick. Do you want to spend
You know what it is?
$50 and learn nothing and lose money? Or do you want to spend $350 and have these guys help you with it? A company like Bull could help you with it if you ask their support team. Like, I don't know if they'll do it for free every time, but they have people who will help you, because that's a mission focused side of Bitcoin, the CoinKite, the Bull, and then there's the product and sales side, right? The fucking price prediction $1 million side, the shitty wallet side.
Well, they cater to a lot of shitcoiners. Look at everything they do.
It's
And
true.
I think a lot of
It's
people
all
out
bottom
there,
quintile. It's all bottom quintile stuff. It's like
they're yeah. Though they're so accustomed to the fiat lifestyle that they're just, oh, look, I could just tap this and then use my phone to sign everything. They don't have the mindset that you, the end user, are the one that's totally responsible. The onus is on the user itself. They don't have that mindset. And until they grasp that, they're going to continually use stuff like this with hopes that if they get rugged, they'll be made whole somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen in Bitcoin. Once you lose your Bitcoin, you're SOL. So take the steps necessary to secure it.
Yes, sir.
Use a proper device offline.
Literally anything is better. Paper wallet, better. There's a million things you could do better than this. It's just so brutal. This is the second week in a row we've had a story like this, by the way. Yeah. Last week there was one too. I can't remember the details now. Everything is kind of fuzzy after the show's done these days. But
as the price goes up, you're going to find more and more of these. As a crack in a particular system, you'll be able to exploit that crack.
Totally.
And we're talking about the cold card. I want to just stay on the cold card topic, the Q, in fact. A user on X named Beans Bullet BTC, he has released something to the world called Stealth Boy and Stealth Boy Lite. And these are hard shell cases specifically designed for the cold card Q. And what they do, it makes your cold card Q look like either a Game Boy or a Game Boy Color. And it may be a cool way to hide your device in case you're potentially using it when you're traveling across jurisdictions. You're trying to hide it in a particular part of your home or somebody else's home. It looks like a Game Boy, so people may not be apt to take that unless they're gamers, and they probably will take it. The price of these devices, as it shows there, you're looking at Canadian. I got the US price because you know what? Everything I have is US because of my VPN. It starts at 55 USD, and that is for the full wraparound Stealth Boy, or and I didn't get the price for the other one, but it starts at 55 USD. And the legal notice is that these devices are not endorsed or licensed by Nintendo. So don't think that Nintendo authorizes this, but who fucking cares? And it doesn't make this device into a fully functioning Game Boy or Game Boy Color. So it is a shell to make it look like that. I find this thing rather cool, especially for those who like the OPSEC type of thing. And it's just another option out there for people if they want to do something. I'm not going to use it. I don't have a Q, but I just like these stories. I like seeing people try to repurpose their devices, at least put a skin on it or a shell on it to make it look like something else. You got to do something like that. Make it a TV remote, as somebody said. That's a fucking good one, an old style TV remote.
No one wants to steal those. Yeah, no one takes TV remote. I bought a Crypto Cloaks cold card case. Must have been 5 years ago now, maybe longer. I really like the stuff that Rick makes. He makes some good shit for Bitcoiners. It's a little expensive with the shipping to get here, but it is fun to kind of personalize your cold card. But again, that was a different stage of my Bitcoin journey that I'm at now. And I'll tell you that now I never see my cold card. I think that's probably the way it should be. I never see my keys. I never see and it should be like that. So yes, cool, great vanity project. And again, Bitcoiners are always doing cool stuff. That's what Bitcoiners do. We're net producers and smart people, and we have skills and talents and drive and motivation to do these things. It's one of the things that makes Bitcoin special. But I I would not be doing this. I would not be doing
No,
this.
I agree.
Yeah.
Boomer makes a good point. If he says make it look like a sex toy, nobody will touch it.
Interesting.
A VHS tape,
Yeah.
or go even further, beta,
Betamax, cassette, Big Shiny Tunes 2, cassette,
8-track. Lots of
Ooh.
different options out there.
Yeah, yeah.
And then nobody would. How could you fucking plug those things? And nobody would have.
It's unusable, completely unusable. Yeah.
So, for sure, a thief will leave that behind. Especially who's gonna want to steal the 8-track of Dancing at the Disco? Let's talk about. There's some buzz going on in Bitcoin Twitter about the banking giant Morgan Stanley, and they say it looks like they may be offering Bitcoin through their E-Trade service. I'm not sure if you heard about this.
Yeah, yeah.
And they haven't yet decided if they're going to be offering it, but it appears that the people on the inside of Morgan Stanley, they're pondering this move to figure out what are the pros and cons. And furthermore, they're also waiting for Trump to get sworn in, because once he comes into power, potentially new regulations may be put in place, which could impact the rollout of, or the going ahead of, this E-Trade Bitcoin service. Now, E-Trade has about 5.2 million accounts, which hold approximately $360 billion in total of customer assets. And this move would kind of give competition, I'm guessing, to something like Robinhood. But I would say Robinhood might be a little bit further ahead in that it allows for the withdrawal of Bitcoin, from what I gather. I don't have a Robinhood account, so I can't verify this, but I from what I'm reading, they do allow that. I don't know what's the recommended, like the minimum threshold or whatever the fuck it is. Who cares? But with this, the E-Trade, I'm not sure if they're going to be offering up that type of service where you could buy, and if you wanted to withdraw your Bitcoin, it could simply just be a paper Bitcoin type situation, which, in my opinion, could
I think it will be. I think it will.
Yeah, and if that's the case, I'm not sure anybody could look at this as a good thing. It will help number go up. It will expose more people, more customers, retail to Bitcoin. But the reality is, this isn't what we want. We don't want somebody to buy Bitcoin and hold it on for them. Like, it just, to me, it does not make sense. The Robinhood way, giving the option to at least withdraw, I prefer that. If I, in comparison, I prefer bull Bitcoin, to be perfectly honest. That like not custodial, but I think Robinhood at least is a step in the right direction. This whole E-Trade stuff, a lot of people are saying good things or talking.
They're saying good things because it's like another signpost. Great. But I think when I look at E-Trade, I see a company that's, famous, at least in my mind, Len, for like great Super Bowl commercials they did 10 years ago. They still, I don't think, are the company that a lot of millennials use for their stock accounts. Just in the research that I've done, you need, I think, $500 minimum to have an E-Trade core trading account. So, the likelihood that you're going to buy Bitcoin and that's the reason you're opening the account, is a suggestion here that you're going to have all these, the AUM on the E-Trade platform now exposed to potential avenues for Bitcoin. They could already buy the ETF buys. They could already buy MicroStrategy buys. I don't think you're going to get a lot of new Bitcoin interest through this. I do like that they're being forced to offer it, right? That is good, or at least considering offering it. But I don't think you're going to see a lot of new money interest coming in. Just it doesn't move the needle. I don't think it doesn't make sense that something like this would move the needle. So I just, cool, great. Another good sign, but overall, I'm just kind of lukewarm. Probably you are too, if I had to guess.
I wanted to say I'm lukewarm. It's
just Luke.
No, not even that. I'm not AI. Remember, we talked about the new requirements for the IRS that they wanted to impose on, at least for U.S. residents, for who hold and buy and whatever with their Bitcoin. Well, the idea has been temporarily shelved until at least January 1st, 2026. Sorry, 2020. 2026. So the new reporting requirements that were supposed to take place a couple of days ago, you don't have to do that as of right now. And the delay is to allow for exchanges to catch up on the new exchanges, because these are quite a bit of new things that have to be reported upon. And exchanges, unfortunately, even though they had a little bit of a heads up, several months, in fact, to start doing this, they haven't done their homework. So it's been delayed, and it is reported that it's not just because like they've been stalling. They say that exchanges lack the next necessary infrastructure
Of course.
to support specific
Of
identification
course.
methods. So
Of course. Did we not talk about this last week? How this was like a sign that these guys didn't understand what they were asking?
we talked about it. Do we mention? Maybe we did.
I thought we did, or maybe we talked about it offline. That they just don't. Oh no, we talked about it offline in the Canadian context. That like asking for this is a sign that lawmakers don't understand the space, don't understand Bitcoin, don't understand the sovereignty that it gives you as a Bitcoin user, and that just the impossibility of getting this information at an accurate level. It's way too hard, way too dense. There's way too much of it, and people just won't report. They won't report. And, as we go on here, you're seeing more and more different privacy tools come into view. Like Bull Bitcoin just did a pay join implementation, right? Like, now it's another obfuscation and transactions. It's more and more, and it's disintermediated, and it's truly decentralized, not like Whirlpool, not like these other implementations that have gotten people in jail and had them take unscheduled meetings at airport boarding gates over the last few years. This is going to continue, and governments have to. And like one thing I think that maybe Trump. Now, I don't know if it's Donald, Barron, Eric, Donald Jr. One of the Trumps seems to understand that Bitcoin is not going away, and that governments have to either play ball and get involved. Not necessarily support, not necessarily usurp their own dollar power, but get involved or get left behind by people who are really serious about this and getting better at using it privately.
So it's status quo for the time being with respect to if you're a U.S. resident.
Here too, by the way, should mention that we kind of talked about it in passing last week. I don't know if anyone thought that you don't have to report your buys here in Canada yet. That legislation probably will also die on the vine, actually. But for now, it's status quo.
Yeah. And this would really impact, though, it's the people that actively do something with your Bitcoin. I think it's still a nuisance if these came into effect and you had to do this type of reporting in either Canada or United States.
Yeah.
But less so if you're just simply buying and holding. It's the people that trade their Bitcoin or do something with their Bitcoin. I think they're the ones that are likely to really feel the impact of that. And even beyond that, you could go further. People that deal with shitcoins, people aren't holding shitcoins for the long run. They're actively trading it, trying to increase their wealth or their Bitcoin stack or something.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So that's where it could be really a headache for those group of people out there.
Totally.
But either way,
I want to add something here that I didn't say at the top of the show. It's January. I have probably had in the last 2 weeks 50 beers, maybe more. And I am starting a dry January Telegram group. It's on my Twitter profile. A couple guys are already in there. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the show. Even if you're not going full dry January, even if you want to stop smoking or start working out or whatever, I'm going to be in that fucking group every day. I'm going to be in your ass every day. Okay. No Diddy, trying to get you straight for January the same way I'm trying to get straight for January. No booze.
That sounds
January.
Like
dry
7
out.
a day.
Well, I wasn't probably not 50, but like too many for me. There was a few days there where I had like 4 beers every day, like 4 times in a row, which is too many for me.
So would Julian be impressed by that, or would he be like,
no?
Whatever?
Oh my God, that's breakfast for Julian and the boys there at Sunnyvale. Even I sometimes joke with my wife that I'm drinking too much, and she's like, "You have no idea how little you drink, and you have no idea how much drinking too much actually looks like." Maybe she knows, I don't know, but as long as I'm not my liver's not turning into a raisin, I'm probably fine. But still, I do want to do dry January. I always say I'm going to do it, and I get close most of the time. But I'm going to do it this year. And if you want to do it too, the thing for Telegram is on my Twitter page. So go there and let's do it together.
Freedom 35, Joey. I like the way Boom does his thing. Bitcoin turned 16 years old on January 3rd.
Nice. Driver's license? Are they getting the G1 this week?
It can now do that. It could finally drive. It has the ability to do that. The Genesis block was created January 3rd, 2009, right?
Yep.
So like it's 16 years old. 50 Bitcoin was awarded to Satoshi at the time when the Genesis block was created. And keep in mind that the Genesis block is something that's special that cannot be spent. And it's the way that it's hard coded hard coded into Bitcoin software. So it's not like this is a pre-mine or whatever. It's just you needed a point of origin, and that is it. And then everything basically leads to that block itself. I think it's a good time, at least on January 3rd, it was a good time to take a step back and to look what happened with Bitcoin in the last 16 years, right? Like a lot has transpired. And, we had pizza that was transacted. That was one of the first ever transactions that was reported in Bitcoin. The marketplace Silk Road came into effect, which showed that Bitcoin could be used as a medium of exchange. The infighting from the block size, you had some people that wanted to increase it and other people didn't. Eventually we ended up on SegWit. And so you had that war going on. You had these attacks from forks and the forks of forks, and then litigation that comes along with it, and governments attacking it, banning mining and all that stuff. And remember, we were also laughed at by Wall Street elites and also publicly traded companies. And sure enough, they started offering these services to offer buying Bitcoin on some of these platforms. And then publicly traded companies started buying Bitcoin. Spot ETFs were approved this past year. Leveraged Bitcoin ETFs now exist. So for the degens out there, you even have a soon-to-be president talking about Bitcoin at Bitcoin conferences. It's been an absolute crazy ride. And the market cap as of yesterday was slightly under 2 trillion. I don't know if it's surpassed 2 trillion now. We're 102.4K as I speak, according to my block clock. But it just goes to show you, in the 16 years, a lot has happened, and it was done without a PR firm, without a marketing budget, without a centralized...
with nothing.
Yeah, it's simply just a grassroots effort. And this could have failed many times along the way, but it hasn't. And we should be thankful for all the people that worked on it to get to this point. And it's been a fun bunch of years that I've been in it. People have been in it for much longer than I have. And moving forward, it's going to be a lot more fun, I think. So just strap on in and enjoy the ride. 102K, maybe 1.2 million in not too distant future. But at that point, what the fuck's the use of a US dollar? Is probably worthless. Well, close to worthless at that point. But either way.
What other story is there like this about anything? Like, let's say it's not monetary, a monetary good, or it's not an economic good. What other story is there that has absorbed, or other like product or whatever you want to call this thing, that has absorbed this much criticism, this much attack, dealt with this much litigation with no official flag bearer, no organization to defend it, no treasury to fund its growth, to fund its publicity, nothing. There's nothing that compares to this. And that's why I think when people talk about Bitcoin and say, yeah, I don't really understand it, I think it's a bit of a scam, I think it's this, I think it's that. Like, it's the reason you don't understand it is, one, because you haven't done the research, but two, it's just so novel, even today, to see something like this that's managed to withstand this much of a barrage over this long. So it's not, to me, it's not just that, though the network hasn't gone down, it's very secure, it's not going to get hacked. It's that the most powerful entities on the planet spent almost 2 decades trying to take it down and eventually bent the knee one by one. We're about to get the biggest knee bend ever with the US Reserve. Even if they say we're just not going to sell the Bitcoin we confiscated, that is a significant bending of the knee. That might be the first time in history that the monetary hegemon decided they were going to bend to another quote unquote currency product. The first time ever. That's the kind of thing that ends empires, and maybe it'll end that empire too. I don't know. But to willfully do it, that's incredible stuff, man. Big kudos to everyone involved in Bitcoin. Some of these OGs like Pierre and Bitstein, Trace Mayer, who showed up at Sailor's party. The guy hasn't been seen for 7 years, 5 years, something like that, since he shilled Mimblewimble at some conference. Guys like Peter Todd, Meister. I even think like Marty and Matt, Len, fuck, people in 10 years might be saying that you and me were around at the beginning, right? Like the further you get, the more you're just like, holy shit, there was people who were like trying to, the analogy I always make, they were trying to beat a path to the campfire so early when there was still like rabid wildlife and uncontacted tribes along the way. And now it's just like, tiki torches and a s'more waiting for you at the campfire. It couldn't have done it without these guys. Couldn't have done it without all of you guys and without all the podcasts and all the commentary and the just unwillingness, the unrelenting attitude that everyone in Bitcoin has. Just can't say enough about it. And it's the thing when you go to stuff like conferences and meetups, and I've said this to Len privately. I don't know if I've ever said it on the air, but I fucking hate going to meetups. I hate the idea of like going somewhere after work and like entertaining, like trying to entertain myself. And sometimes I don't like all the people there. But when I go to the Bitcoin stuff, it's totally different. I get there and I'm like, this is energizing. It's all people who are like-minded. They see things the same way I see them. They without being homogenous, right? It's not that everyone has the same beige opinion. It's that everyone is looking at things and seeing the same neon colors that I am. And no one is worried about, oh, I don't want to offend this guy. Or, oh, this idea might be too radical. Or, oh, this might be too unique a thing to say. I don't want to say it here. That crowd doesn't think like that. Those are moments when like everyone is engaged. Everyone is trying to do something. Everyone leaves motivated and refreshed. That's so rare, just like everything else in Bitcoin. We are in rare air with rare people. And, I see one smart fellow in the chat. We're still early, man. We are very early. Don't get discouraged. These little price moves, man. I see people talking about Bitcoin.
We were 91K last
and
week.
it was boring at 91. Week. Can you imagine in 2017, Len, when we were fucking cruising at 3,000 for like 8 months? We would be saying 7 years later, we're bored at 91. Can you imagine what the lunch table would have looked like if we had made that claim? It was wild enough already telling people it would go back to 20,000. Now it's at 100. It's just the persistence and resilience that everyone in Bitcoin has shown is being rewarded. And eventually the naysayers and doubters will have no choice but to admit that you were right. I don't want to go on the, you weren't lucky, you were right rant again, but truly that is what happened here, against all odds, both in terms of just network survival and in your own personal story, your own personal journey, people telling you that this thing was a scam or a Ponzi or greater fool theory case study. We got it right. And you're rewarded for it. So congratulations. Here's to another 16 years, right? Cheers.
Well, we weren't awarded because we didn't get to go to the 100K party. How come we didn't get to? I don't want to go anywhere.
We're not PodConf approved. That's why.
Fuck that.
That was only PodConf approved.
What did you think of that? That whole. I'll be honest.
Fucking joke.
It wasn't. I will admit this. I didn't invest a nanosecond into listening or watching any of.
They streamed it. I didn't know they streamed it. I saw that on some other podcasts. Like, do you need a fucking stream of your party?
I have no. People liked it.
We should ask D. D's been to that guy's house, so we should just ask him, like, what is it like there? And also, I don't know. I just think it's like Trace Mayer. The Trace Mayer sighting made me feel something. That guy is a great Bitcoiner, or was for a long time. Some of the best messaging, some of the most intense messaging around Bitcoin that the protocol has ever seen. But then he tried to scam people. Him and Jameson Lopp was doing it too. Another guy who was a great Bitcoiner, but tried to scam people with Mimblewimble. Tried to say, like, this is a better token. We might be able to do something here that Bitcoin can't do. Like, you guys fucking got that wrong and didn't pay much of a price for it at all. And Trace Mayer now getting invited to Sailor's fucking yacht party New Year's Eve. Okay. If that's the party you want to go to, cool. Personally, me, like now, especially, I want to spend New Year's with my wife and daughter. And I did that. And I want to spend it with my family and friends, not people I'm people who are ostensibly trying to get famous, want to dress up. Also, I want to echo something I heard on Marty's show. Bitcoiners need to fucking either get in shape or get a fucking tailor, because you guys all look like shit at that party. What the fuck is going on? Marty's right. People wearing fucking running shoes and sweat socks. People wearing fucking the wrong size pants, wrong size shirt, no tie. It's a fucking there's a yacht in the yard. Dress like you know how to dress for a formal event, or start doing some fucking bench press.
I'd fall in that category because I have no idea what.
If you went to a fucking wedding, you would look out of place. You wouldn't be wearing a fucking proper suit. Of course you would. In there.
But I have experience attending weddings. I, as a true commoner, have zero experience going to a yacht and understanding what is the dress code and I don't fucking. I would guess.
Just fucking Google it. On the invitation, it doesn't say black tie. It doesn't say formal. Just fucking Google it.
No.
And also,
no.
again, all these people who ostensibly are very wealthy, you don't have a tailor. You can't get the fucking pants to fit. What'd you
You're
buy them off
short
the rack?
Bitcoin. You're
Holy
short
fuck.
Bitcoin if you
Yeah,
do
you're
that.
fucking, yeah, you're going to be short Bitcoin maybe, but you're going to be short pants too if you don't go to a proper fucking tailor. And you're going to look insane in these fucking photos. Anyway,
Who cares?
Whatever.
These people, they're into Bitcoin for not for the reasons. They're in there for monetary reasons. That's basically it. And let's talk about the one last topic, because I want to discuss what's going on in Canadian politics. I want to give some time to that. FDIC and Operation Checkpoint 2.0. Choke Point 2.0. It's I find this to be rather interesting, because it was recently discovered through some redacted documents that the Biden administration was in fact reviving something called the Operation Choke Point with Operation Choke Point 2.0, and specifically targeting those in the Bitcoin industry. And the FDIC recently released these documents outlining their initiative.
Yeah.
And they've been engaging with banking regulators, and they were trying to address the risks associated with Bitcoin. And they were saying it was necessary to protect consumers and the financial system from illicit activities such as money laundering and fraud that may be facilitated by Bitcoin. I love it. So Bitcoin is the root of these problems. This shit never happens with the US dollar, but Bitcoin is it. But really, come on, let's be honest. This stuff is truly, it's overreach by them, the FDIC, and it impacted the economic growth and the development of some of these companies, especially the smaller ones out there that didn't have the ability to deal with this type of attack. And I'll be honest, I thought this really was not the case.
No,
but I've been proven wrong. I thought that Operation Choke Point 2.0 really wasn't. I didn't actively see it. I didn't see people actively stop getting on board. And we've heard about a few things and it sucked. But to see this type of document and heavily redacted at that, why would they redact it that heavily?
Sure.
There is something more to it, and that's pretty fucked up. And it's another reason I think that shows that we are winning. And let's continue what we're doing.
Totally. I'll just note one thing, that the Choke Point 2.0, the big issue, and I want to give Matt Walsh from Castle Island Ventures credit for this. Him and Nick Carter pointed out early on in Choke Point that even though there was nothing official being asked of these banks, there was tons of under the table, behind the scenes jockeying by government officials, principally Liz Warren and her people, telling these banks that were either banking crypto companies, holding capital for crypto companies, giving loans to crypto companies, you name it. Nothing official from either the FDIC or Biden government or any of the three-letter agencies saying, look, this is new legislation we're passing. You can no longer bank these guys, or they have to have you have to have greater capital on hand for loans, or the LTVs have to be extended for protection or over volatility or whatever. Nothing official. The thing that really should piss you off is that it was all done under the table with phone calls and nudges and saying, look, you don't have to stop banking these guys, but if you don't, we're going to really dig into your operation. And I think that we're probably going to find problems because of XYZ. That's mafia type stuff, right? The US government is more illegitimate than it's ever been. And stuff like this is the reason why. People point to, the COVID lockdowns and blah, blah, blah. Those were bad too, for sure. But that was right out in front of you, right? They told you that was going to be the case. You were able to fight it. You were able to organize against it. You were able to vote because you knew what things were shaping up to be. But this is all behind the scenes. This is mob behavior. And you can't fix that. And the banks, by the way, now slowly but surely going public, now that they feel emboldened by the change in regime, by some of the other documents that have been leaked, going public and saying, yeah, we were subjected to this too. Here's the communication we received. Nothing about legislation, no legal violations, but we're going to keep an eye on you if you don't stop banking these guys. We're going to keep an eye on you if you don't stop giving them loans. That's fucked up. But that's exactly what you expect, unfortunately, from the Biden administration. I expect Trump, at the very least, to be much more friendly to these businesses, as he should be. They're American entrepreneurs in a lot of cases who are trying to start businesses around an emerging asset class. You can say what you want about crypto broadly, but that's an emerging asset class too. For some people, I don't think it's going to do as well as Bitcoin. I don't think it's going to be as successful. I don't think it's decentralized and censorship resistant, all these things. But their businesses around that all the same. And they should be able to operate those businesses in the United States without fear of off the books reprimand from public officials. What the fuck is that? That's Zimbabwe stuff. Fuck off. These people got to go. They can't go soon enough.
I think that's it for our Bitcoin stuff, Joey. We could transition to the rest of the news. I think we'll be going a little longer than usual that side. So
let's see. Yeah, let's cut it. Let's cut it now, and we'll see how we do. If you're on audio, stay put. If you're on video, come. I got that backwards. If you're on video, stay put. If you can hear my voice right now, this moment, and you can see me on Twitter or YouTube or anywhere else, stay put. If you're on audio, I'll release the rest of the episode tomorrow. Until next time, take care of yourselves.
And don't be a cock.